Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first weekly chat with Wisconsin Timberwolves manager Matt Erickson. Matt joins us via Zoom from the Brewers Spring Training Complex at American Family Fields of Phoenix. Matty, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I am doing great. How are you doing with some baseball down there?
It's been fantastic so far. Staying healthy for the most part. We have fans in the stands. There's an environment back in the ballpark that we've all missed in the last calendar year. And so there's some continuous energy. You know, when we come down to spring training year to year, typically there's always, a fresh start feel and people are upbeat. But that has stayed pretty continuous here for several weeks now as we get back into the swing of normal baseball life.
What was it like, going through that really long off season and now finally getting back to baseball? I guess, what did you do to keep yourself busy between the end of the alternate training site and heading down to the Major League camp?
Yeah, well, some of the silver lining of this is the quality time that you get to spend with your family. And I spent a lot of time with the kids that I typically don't get to spend over last spring and last summer and this past calendar year. We're a winter activity family, so we knew that the basketball scene was going to be limited in gyms this winter. So we bought a ski pass to Granite Peak in Wausau, and for 10 straight weeks we were on the slopes on the weekends. So we got every bit of our money's worth in that deal.
No injuries to report from that, I hope?
No injuries, and Emma is now full-fledged professional skier, self-stated professional, and Maddox has been snowboarding now since second grade or so. So he's got about 10 years in it, and then Aubrey went from the skis this year to the snowboard for the first time. So I think we got a couple snowboarders in the family.
So you're developing the family. Now let's talk about developing the teams down there. What are you doing right now during Major League camp before the minor leaguers show up?
A little bit of everything. I'm a definite rover, but I guess on the priority list, you would say I first get in on a daily basis and usually find Jason Lane, our new third base coach, and he's in charge of the infield positioning during the games. So we go over basically our infield schedule and what we want to put together and the communication with our infielders and make sure that that schedule is set day to day. And then I bang a lot of ground balls early in the morning as we try to hone the skills of all of our infielders in camp currently. And then it usually goes to one of the fields to throw batting practice, either on the stadium or one of the backfields to the different groups that we have. And then after that, it's more ground balls, and then we get to watch a baseball game. So that's, for the most part, that's pretty much the schedule of the day for me. But a little bit of everything. Wherever there's a need, that's what I do on the Major League side. And then now we've had some players sent down from the Major League side, and we've had just a very minimal minor league group here up until that time, but we would work out with them right after lunch for a brief period of time, get them their workload in, and then I'd go down to the stadium and watch the game.
You mentioned hitting a lot of ground balls. I guess Keston here at first base is in that group you're hitting ground balls to. How has that transition gone?
For sure. Keston's soaking it all in. He's getting, a lot of information from a lot of different people, everybody obviously trying to help out the best they can. And what I would like to tell Keston, or what I did tell him, is that as he gets all this information, try to keep it simple and find things that he's comfortable with. And from what I've seen, for the most part, his lower half, works really well for a first baseman. Obviously, he's been playing up the middle the last couple of years, and getting to balls and having a ball stick in his glove is not an issue. Obviously, the feeds to first base and the feeds to second base and the throwing a little bit different angles. He has much more time on the corners at first base to make his feeds. So I think he's understanding the time and the tempo that he has, even at game speed. And the more experience that he gets with those reps, the more comfortable he's going to feel. But I think the progression of it has been really good so far.
Let's just kind of go through some Timber Rattlers of more recent vintage and ask you how you think they've done or what you've seen from them in camp. And let's start out with the one that I think has really opened a lot of eyes this year, although it's probably not a surprise to you or I, is Aaron Ashby and what he's been able to do down there.
Yeah, we after last fall and last summer, there was a lot of talk about Ashby and some of the pitching development that he's gone through in the last couple of years. And last year he was obviously we were all in a delay for a while, so it got a late start into the summer. But you could really see his comfort level in the secondary mix that he has, in the curveball and the slider, and how he's putting away hitters. And now his changeup has developed well, along with the fastball that keeps ticking upwards into the mid 90s. So that's quite a 4-pitch arsenal that he has. And then when you start to add some of the timing issues that he's created with the different leg kicks and destroying the timing of hitters, it's all a pretty good mix for him. And when he's able to execute pitches, it's very tough. He's, his last outing, he went through a little stint where there were some control issues. But before that, that couple outings before that, he commanded the strike zone and was getting a lot of ugly swings.
You mentioned the different leg kicks and the different timing, and obviously that was a trademark of Ethan Small, and he's down there as well. How has Ethan Small looked down there for you?
Ethan has been the same. For me, Ethan is always a guy that he never gives in. He always seems to get kind of deep in counts, even when he gets ahead of hitters early, first and second pitch strikes. He's never given in. He's always seeming to put the ball just off the plate and making it very uncomfortable for hitters to square it up. But to be very honest, he's pitched in a couple games that I had the afternoon off on the road, so I haven't get to see him pitch a tremendous amount in competition.
How about Bryce Terran? We saw he hit his first home run in spring training down there last week, and he's really been impressive with the contact and the power, I think, is showing where that might lead in a few years.
Yeah, I think there is some obvious untapped power in that body. He's very functional. He's explosive. He's fast twitch. Just not a lot of size, to his body, but he generates some bat speed. And I know last summer in Appleton, he really showed the staff there and the players that were working out with him on a daily basis his capability of pulling the baseball in the air. Now, I know he's had some conversations here to where he doesn't believe that should be something that he should be thinking about as a priority on every pitch, because that will obviously get him into trouble as a hitter. But if he shows that he's capable of doing those things and getting in good counts and having some pull side damage, he's shown in his first couple of years as a minor leaguer that his ability to be a hitter and hit the ball where it's pitched and get on base and spray the ball around the field. So that would just be another thing that added to his offensive game.
Okay, last two guys that are former Rattlers, they're both catchers. Peyton Henry and Mario Feliciano are both getting a lot of playing time down there, and really showing off how deep the Brewers are at catcher in the system right now.
Yeah, starting with Mario, his last summer in Appleton, when we get to see him a few years ago, and he was an 18-year-old kid, and you could see the potential, and you could see the hitter's hands and his receiving hands, how good his hands were. But the day-to-day grind really beat him up in the professional game that first year out of high school, and not just him, but that's really the big adjustment for most of the young players that we get that get into professional baseball and now are asked to compete on a day-to-day basis. It's hard, and their bodies break down, and they don't have the chance to recover or aren't used to that, playing every day uncomfortable. But you can see how he's progressed in that aspect, and how his body has gotten a little bit stronger, and how he's taking care of himself away from the field. And last summer, I mean, he put on a show with the bat. He went through a stretch, about a 2-week stretch, where everything he was hitting was off the barrel, and the majority of them were leaving the park. And so that was exciting to see. And he's had some really good at-bats here, as well as, being responsible for all the defensive things that the catchers have to do with abundance of pitchers that are here in spring training. And then going to Peyton Henry, man, he's a ball of life. I love watching him catch, because he just gives constant energy. And it's got to be confident for our pitchers to throw to a target like that. He blocks everything. He's always bouncing around. And not only the pitchers, but, the rest of the team defense. That's the visual you get from your defensive position, whether you're in the infield or the outfield. And when you have a catcher bouncing around like that, taking charge, it just gives you confidence. Well, it makes you want to play hard.
He hasn't played for the Timber Rattlers yet, and judging how this spring is going, who knows how long he might be a Timber Rattler in the future, or if he even will. But Brewers' #1 pick, Garrett Mitchell, he has been the talk of camp down there right now.
Yeah, a tremendous first impression he's given. Not only is he humble, and is he asking questions, and really soaking it in, all the experiences, but when he's getting his time, he looks like he's already able to slow the game down at the plate. And obviously it's a small sample size, and he had some immediate success. So the confidence is high right now, which is a great thing to see, whether you're a first round pick or Christian Yelich, who's done it obviously in the big leagues at a high level. There's no substitution for feeling good and feeling confident. And then when you're feeling like that, obviously all your abilities are able to shine through. There'll be a test. There'll be a test for Garrett Mitchell at some point, to where things don't go as well as they're going right now. And then we'll see how he's able to handle that and the adjustments that he's going to have to make throughout his career, like everybody else. But a tremendous first impression. He's had great at-bats almost daily. He's played a good center field, and now he's trying to learn how he can do damage on the bases, as well as he's spending a lot of time with Quentin Berry.
Matty, usually about this time of the year is when you start getting your team together for the season and start working out. Obviously, that's changed a little bit this year. What is the plan for the Timber Rattlers part of the training camp and spring training, and what's the timeline of them starting to show up and you starting to get to work with them?
Yeah, I can't get real specific with the Timber Rattlers schedule as of per se, but I can kind of relate the major league schedule to the minor league schedule as of right now. It appears that the major league schedule or spring training will end here on the 28th. Major league team and our AAA staff and players will fly to Texas for the exhibition games. And then all that entire group will fly to Milwaukee, where I believe our AAA, our alternative site, will start in Milwaukee for a week to 10 days. And then it looks like it's heading your way in Appleton for the remainder of the weeks. Now, I believe the minor league pitchers are coming in somewhere between April 4th and 5th. And then our position players are scheduled for the 7th. They'll all have to go through an intake, and then we'll have 48 hours to make sure we get test results back and everybody's clear and healthy. And then we should be able to start April 9th, a full squad with the minor leaguers.
How excited are you to finally get back and start teaching some future Timber Rattlers?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm already excited. This last few weeks have been tremendous. To be able to go out on a daily basis and talk about and teach what you love to teach. And now you're obviously around some guys that not only have had success, we have a Gold Glover in the big leagues in the infield right now. And we have obviously some other infielders that have had success in the big leagues. We have some guys that have been in AAA that have had just a sniff of the big leagues and are trying to be consistent as possible. But the overall group that I get to work with on a daily basis, all great personalities, all receptive, all willing to give information as well as receive it. So it's been great. I mean, I really find out how bad you miss it.
Last question for you, Matt. How big is that watch face?
Watch face.
It looks really big on the screen on the Zoom. So I don't know if that's an optical illusion or.
Well, the rest of me is pretty small, so maybe that's an illusion. No, that's a gift from the wife. That's a golf watch. So I take that everywhere I go. It not only gives time, but every golf course I drive by, all of a sudden I'm getting yardages popped up. So taking full advantage of that when I can.
You'll never be late. That sounds great. Matty, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you again next week, and we just look forward to having you back up here again real soon.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it, no doubt about it.
All right, that's great. That is Timber Rattlers manager Matt Erickson joining us. We'll be back with Matty again next week. Thank you for watching our first interview with Wisconsin Timber Rattlers manager Matt Erickson. We'll be back again next Tuesday with another interview from Matt as he is reporting from the American Family Fields of Phoenix training site for the Milwaukee Brewers. Until next time, Timber Rattlers fans, we'll see you at the ballpark.